Now, one of the other people that the CIA watched very closely is Edgar Cayce. And Edgar Cayce was a very sort of popular and well-known and massively, hugely selling author. And like basically a prophet, if you like. I mean, he already sort of perceived and saw the future and had a lot of esoteric interest, particularly fascinated by the story of Atlantis. And that's the Edgar Cayce Foundation, which is in Virginia Beach. I took that about 7 or 8 years ago. And you can go there and it basically tells you all about his life and his work, and you can find examples of all his findings and his publications. And he, even today, I mean, decades after his death, he still has a massive following. And just a few years ago, documents surfaced showing that the CIA had actually got an agent working inside the Edgar Cayce Foundation. This was in the early 1960s, who was reporting back on what was stored there, what was being said in lectures, what his different theories were, how popular his work was still decades later. So we have this situation where, for whatever reason, somebody was taking a great deal of interest in Cayce's findings on Atlantis. Now, many people, relegate the story of Atlantis, that was just myth, there was no sort of ancient land run by these supermen with technology far in advance of ours. We don't know. I mean, the fact is the history of our planet, you go back more than sort of 7, 8, 10,000 years of human civilization, it gets very sort of murky and foggy as to what was going on. It's almost like, we have the pyramids and people talk about cavemen, and it's sort of very black and white. But we don't really get a full picture of what may have gone on, possibly tens of thousands of years ago. I mean, could we possibly be looking at ancient civilizations, perhaps in some ways not unlike ours, that flourished and then destroyed themselves, and we today have sort of relegated it to, it's just myth. But true or not, what we can say for sure is that the CIA was watching Cayce's work or reading and following his work specifically for these Atlantis connections. That's an old piece of imagery alleged to show Atlantis. That picture actually, the reason I put that up is because there's a copy of it in the CIA's files on Edgar Cayce. And I put that there just to demonstrate to you the extent to which the CIA went in terms of looking into this particular issue, even getting hold of old maps and diagrams and drawings. But, I mean, there's been a lot of places suggested for Atlantis, there's sort of many places suggested for Atlantis, there's many theories as who killed Kennedy, it's, we don't really know. All we know for sure is that Plato was the first person to talk about Atlantis thousands of years ago, and he said that it was a legendary land where sort of a super race, if you like, that either got destroyed or destroyed themselves, and that all we have left, remnants of legend. That it's kind of like if there was a nuclear war tomorrow and our civilization was obliterated, 50,000 years from now there might be another civilization where the equivalent of me standing up here saying, well, there were legends from 30,000 years ago of this other race that once came before us, and people are like, oh, that's nonsense, we're the first. And then after them, we're the first, and so I think if there was like a worldwide civilization like ours in the past, we probably would find more evidence of it. I think that I don't rule out there could have been like localized areas which were highly advanced. It's like today we have the internet, but there are still South American tribes that use bows and arrows. So, in that sense, I think there could have been areas perhaps of the past that did flourish and possibly wiped themselves out. And whether it's actually called Atlantis, maybe that was part of a legend, but the idea that there could have been something maybe that prompted that story to Plato, I don't think we can actually deny that.